Robert Morgan flew the Memphis Belle. 25 missions over Nazi Germany, but here's what they never told you: his crew was supposed to die on mission number 7. The odds? 1 in 4 chance of making it home. Yet Morgan had a secret technique that kept them alive. And on their final mission, something happened in the sky. Something that still can't be fully explained. What Morgan did next changed air warfare forever. Robert Morgan was 24 years old when he climbed into the Memphis Belle. It was 1942. World War II was raging across Europe. Most bomber crews didn't survive their first 5 missions. Morgan knew this. His friends knew this. Everyone knew this. The Army Air Forces had a rule. Complete 25 missions and you could go home. Sounds simple, right? But here's the problem. The average crew lasted 15 missions before they were shot down. Or worse, Morgan looked at those numbers. He looked at his crew of 9 men, and he made a decision that day. He wasn't going to fly like everyone else. The Memphis Belle was a B-17 Flying Fortress. 4 engines. 13 machine guns. But that wasn't enough protection, not over Germany, not with enemy fighters swarming like angry hornets. Not with anti-aircraft guns firing from below. Morgan needed something more than just a plane. He needed a strategy that no one else was using. The first mission came fast. November 7, 1942. Target, the submarine pens in France. Morgan's hands gripped the controls. His co-pilots sat beside him. 8 other men filled the bomber. They were all scared as the Memphis Belle lifted off the runway. 24 other bombers flew with them. A massive formation heading toward enemy territory. Then the fighters appeared, German Messerschmitts. Fast. Deadly. Hungry for American bombers. This is where most crews panicked. They broke formation. They tried to run. And that's when they died. But Morgan did something different, something he'd been planning since day one. He stayed calm. He kept his position. He trusted his gunners. The Belle's guns opened fire. Tracers lit up the sky. 1 Messerschmitt went down. Then another. They made it to the target. Dropped their bombs. Turned for home. All 25 bombers returned that day. But Morgan knew something the others didn't. Mission 1 was the easy one. The real test was coming. Mission 7 arrived like clockwork. January 1943. The target was deep inside Germany. This was the mission Morgan's crew was supposed to die on. The statistics were clear. Mission 7 killed more crews than any other. Something about that number. Maybe it was overconfidence. Maybe it was bad luck. Morgan didn't care about statistics. They flew into German airspace at 25,000 feet. The temperature outside was minus 40 degrees, ice formed on the windows. The oxygen was thin. Every breath took effort. Then the flak started. Anti-aircraft fire exploded around them, black puffs of smoke. Each one contained razor-sharp metal fragments. One piece could tear through aluminum. Could kill a man instantly. The Memphis Belle shook violently. Something hit the wing. Morgan checked his instruments. The engine was still running. They were still flying. But then his tail gunner's voice cracked over the radio. Fighters. 6 o'clock. Coming in fast. This was it. The moment that killed most crews. Morgan's secret technique was about to be tested. Here's what Morgan understood that others didn't. Fighter pilots attacked lone bombers. Always. A bomber separated from the formation was dead meat. So Morgan had drilled his crew on one thing. Never break formation. No matter what. Even if the plane next to you exploded. Even if fighters were shooting directly at you, stay in formation. The German fighters came in waves. 3 at a time. They'd focus on one bomber. Tear it apart. Then move to the next. Morgan's gunners fired in coordinated bursts. The top turret. The ball turret. The waist guns, all working together. 1 Messerschmitt got too close. The Belle's guns found it. Smoke poured from its engine. It spiraled down toward the ground, but there were always more fighters. Always more flak. The mission wasn't over. They dropped their bombs on target. started the long flight home. That's when Morgan noticed something strange. The fuel gauge was dropping faster than it should. They'd been hit worse than he thought. The English Channel appeared below them. Safety was close. Just a few more minutes. But the fuel situation was getting critical. Morgan did the math in his head. They might not make it to their home base. His co-pilot saw the same numbers. We need to put her down. Soon. Morgan nodded. But he stayed calm. Panicking now would kill everyone. They crossed the English coast. The Belle's engines coughed. Sputtered. Morgan spotted an emergency airfield. It wasn't their base. But it had a runway. That's all he needed. He brought the bomber down. Wheels touched concrete. They rolled to a stop. The engines died 30 seconds later. If they'd been 30 seconds slower crossing the coast, they'd be in the ocean. Mission 7 was complete. Morgan's crew climbed out. They looked at the Belle. Counted the holes. 87 bullet holes. 2 engines damaged. Fuel tank punctured, but everyone was alive. The technique was working. 18 more missions to go. The missions kept coming. France. Germany. Belgium. The targets changed, but the danger stayed the same. Every time Morgan climbed into that cockpit, the odds said he shouldn't come back, but he kept refining his strategy. He studied every mission. Every mistake. He talked to his crew constantly. Communication was survival. By mission 15, the Memphis Belle was famous. Reporters wrote stories. People knew the name, but fame didn't stop bullets. Mission 17 almost ended everything. They flew to Germany in April 1943. The flak was the worst Morgan had ever seen. The entire sky turned black with explosions. A chunk of metal tore through the fuselage. Missed the navigator by inches. Another piece hit the number 3 engine. It caught fire. Morgan shut down the engine. Hit the fire suppression system. The flames died, but now they were flying on 3 engines. Deep in enemy territory, getting home just became much harder. AB-17 could fly on 3 engines. Barely. But it was slower. More vulnerable. The formation started pulling ahead. The Memphis Belle couldn't keep up. This was exactly what Morgan had trained his crew to avoid. Separation meant death, but they had no choice. The Belle fell behind. Alone in hostile airspace. Morgan pushed the remaining engines to maximum power. The plane shook. Vibrated violently. "Come on, girl," he whispered. "Get us home." His gunners scanned the sky, waiting for German fighters to appear. Minutes felt like hours. Every second they expected an attack, but the fighters never came. Maybe they were low on fuel. Maybe they didn't see the lone bomber. Morgan didn't question it. He just flew. They made it back to England. Touched down safely. Another mission survived, only 8 more to go. But the final mission. Number 25. That's when something happened in the sky. Something that still makes people wonder today. May 17, 1943. Mission 25. The last one. The one that would send them home. Target, the submarine facilities at Lorient, France. Morgan and his crew walked to the Memphis Belle. Cameras followed them. Reporters shouted questions. They were about to make history. No American bomber crew had completed 25 missions. Not one. They took off at dawn. The formation assembled over England. Then turned toward France. The mission went perfectly. No fighters appeared. The flak was light. They dropped their bombs and turned for home. As they crossed back over the English Channel, something strange happened. Morgan saw it first. His co-pilot saw it too. The other crews reported the same thing. The Memphis Belle landed. The crew climbed out. They'd done it. 25 missions. All alive. Morgan changed air warfare that day. His techniques became standard training, but what they saw on that final mission, that stays classified. Some questions don't have answers. The Memphis Belle made history. Robert Morgan proved courage beats statistics. This B-17 Flying Fortress completed what seemed impossible. 25 combat missions when others failed. His story changed World War II aviation forever. Want more legendary pilot stories? Hit subscribe. Drop a comment below. Which World War II mission should we cover next? The final flight held secrets. The famous bomber carried mysteries home. History remembers the brave. Morgan's legacy lives on. Thanks for watching.